business. Hello, good evening and welcome aboard to Business Today, wherever you're watching from. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko with Winnie Buyenza Nakauchi on sign language here to give you what is making headlines from your daily report. Now, kick-starting it off with the Lord Mayor who has collided with the President in regards to the direction on markets, which instructed KCCA to take over market administration and deal directly with sellers without the involvement of third parties. The Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago today disbursed it, asserting that this directive by the President is inconsistent with the Market Act 2021, which is currently pending the President's signature. Monica Nabionga reports.
That we need, as the authority, to urgently put in place interim committees to manage this market and bring a halt to all the processes being pursued by government officers elsewhere, including the Prime Minister's Office, Ministry for Kampala and elsewhere, of installing again new leaderships in the markets without going through the council presided over by the Speaker and the divisional. There are directives that were issued, but there are processes that we have to follow. The bottom line and the fundamental issue right now is the legal regime governing markets right now. There's total confusion. We had the legislation of 1942 which has been operational since then, but we consider it to be archaic, moribund, and out of date. It's not in tandem with modern times. It has been overtaken by events. It had vested absolute authority in the municipal authorities to establish, control, and manage markets. The ED, the minister, and all government agents swung into action and started implementing it at a very supersonic speed. And we are saying, no, we can't be stampeded as KCCA. No, don't want to be stampeded. There are processes that we must follow. There is a law in place.
The Central Division Mayor of Kampala, however, stated that this direction will assist in resolving market disputes and overcharging vendors, which have persisted for years.
You very well know the markets have been a bonanza of money sharing. You have heard the Lord Mayor even talking about it. So to avoid that money sharing, let KCCA take charge, let the money go to Revenue Authority, let the money go to KCCA, vote, and let KCCA be the one having the expenditure of that money, not individual, not Salim Uhuru.
Salim claims that President Museveni handed the city hawkers the Nachivor settlement after they wrote to him asking him to locate them a place to work from during this festive season. However, the Lord Mayor has also denied this claim.
The Batembe had written to us a letter, or to the Mayor's Office of the Mayor, requesting for the Christmas season bazaar to have where to work from. And it's our mandate as the Mayor, it's my mandate to say I give opportunities to our Batembe to see that they can work in Kampala Central. So there was the issue of the Sunday market. which was rejected. The issue of going back to the roads was totally rejected. And the nearest place I identified was Nachivobo settlement. When I brought it to the attention of the president asked me, Uhuru, where do you want my children to go now? I told him, Your Excellency, it will be holiday time. And they'll be having holidays by this week. So when they have holidays, when they are going back to school, the Batembe will go back to their normal places where they used to be. So he said, okay, if that's an opportunity for them to work, why not? So I want to thank His Excellency for accepting an opportunity for them also to work. It is a temporary gesture of where to work. Not
change of user of Nachivobo settlement. That's how we have lost school land. Chagwe Road, Aramugaria, Aria, Shimon, Muslim Girls, which is now Namayiva Park, and so many others. So now we can see maneuvers being undertaken by some individuals to grab that land under the guise of creating a bazaar for vendors during this festive season. It's so appetizing and appealing, but it only makes sense to simple minds.
All this has come at a time when the Kampala Capital City Authority budget has been cut from 470 billion to 375 billion shillings. Monica Nabyonga, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
The only means by which Uganda can gain from the Continental Free Trade Agreement in Africa is through value additions. The legislators assert that the main cause of Uganda's goods and low value is their export as raw materials. Now, Samila Hanifa has more details regarding the FTA in this report.
The majority of the world's economies were negatively impacted by COVID-19, and Uganda was not exempt. Uganda has significant chance to accelerate its economy, combat poverty, and increase economic inclusion thanks to the Continental Free Trade Agreement in Africa. Legislators claim that although the Free Trade Agreement is crucial for the country, more attention should be paid to processed goods than to raw materials we currently export.
Much as Asia, America have opened their markets, to me, as long as we are exporting unprocessed products, still we are not safe. Why? Because we get little revenue or income or the tax, because our commodities are not fully processed. Because what we export, in turn these other countries make them into finished products, and in turn they bring it back to Africa where we buy even more expensively. So as a country, I think with the development of technologies, I feel we would be at a safer side if only we could export finished products. Because Uganda as a country, we are very rich. We are very rich. If we can improve technologically in the industries, we empower our people to value agriculture, automatically we are going to be okay.
According to legislators, despite Uganda being the richest country in Africa in terms of agricultural products, we are taken advantage of when the goods are sold outside, since there is no value addition.
I think it is a very big opportunity for us as a country to consider the country as part of the African Continental Free Trade Zone, that our goods can go to all the markets in the world, especially in China, Europe, America. I think the onus is on us to see that we are really competitive. You know, we have to compete in terms of our goods, and that has to do with the quality of our goods. We need to improve the quality of our goods so that they can be highly competitive. And the one important thing is to engage our farmers, our producers, especially on issues of handling, post-harvest, the handling of our goods. First, we need to look at the inputs. We need to provide the farmers quality inputs, and then we need to have extension services available for farmers.
As we all know, recently Uganda has been exempted from paying tax to support her goods to Europe, to Asia, and I think this is it comes very handy given the current economic situation. As you know, we are still suffering from the post-COVID, and this is something that's still going to stay with us for a long time. So I think this is an opportunity that we should tap and make the most of it. What I want to employ Ugandans to do is to produce quality goods, quality items, brand our goods well, market it, do value addition, in other words, so that our goods are accepted. I mean, if you go to the stalls in supermarkets here, you find peanut butter from UK, peanut butter from USA, and we are the leading producers of granuts and sim. It really pains my heart. And when you taste the peanut or the peanut butter, it doesn't taste as nice as the one we make back home here.
These have urged the government to provide farmers with cutting-edge farming methods that will advance the sector, which currently accounts for the majority of the nation's international exports.
First of all, as a country, we need to begin with the change of mindset, that it is something, agriculture itself has a lot of money in it. But our people lack the skills that they should be given. And therefore it means that the extension workers must really do their work. I remember when I was still growing, the extension workers were really on the ground. They would teach the farmers what time to open the land, what time to tilt it, what to plant, the kind of seeds, and so on. But if you see carefully, these days we have modified seeds. And when you look at the trend of our farmers, most of these farmers are very poor who cannot really buy seeds from these agri shops. So the idea that our traditional way of keeping seeds is also, in a way, people from the West are trying to discourage us.
Government and people of Uganda, I think first and foremost, we need to see to it that we produce, we enhance production, and we add value to our Ugandan products to meet our domestic market demands. So our policy of enhancing production, productivity, value addition to meet our domestic market demands in form of import substitution is still relevant to us. Secondly, we need foreign exchange. Where do we get this foreign exchange from? It's from trading with our partner states. Our most immediate market for us, beyond the 45 million population that we have in Uganda that includes nationals and refugees, is the East African Community Market of the 7 member states.
African economies, including Uganda, have embarked on an ambitious program of regional integration in the form of African Continental Free Trade. This means Uganda will increase its exports to the international markets, especially in the manufacturing sector. Sam Lanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now let's look at sensitization on personal savings. The National Social Security Fund New Amendment Act mandates contributions for all employees, regardless of the size of the business or the number of staff members, and it also allows for voluntary contribution to the fund. Now in Chirika, for example, cab drivers and boda riders were educated by the NSSF and the National Union of Drivers, Cyclists and Allied Workers about the need of personal and retirement savings. This and more in this report.
According to the modification plan, voluntary members of the NSSF were also given the chance to save money and plan for their retirement. These workers include individuals who are self-employed and make less money, such as taxi drivers, boda riders, market vendors, and others.
It's mandated to take care of voluntary savers that are not under formal employment, those people that are not employed under companies. Given our act was amended early this year, they are now free to come and save for their retirement and save and keep a pension for themselves after they have worked.
Members of the informal sector should adopt the NSSF saving culture because, in accordance with the new amendment, it enables them to obtain their benefits whenever they want. Additionally, it will give them obligations to make wise investments and saving decisions.
We have encouraged the drivers, since they are informal sector, to start saving with NSSF because it is the only way to go. You see, you can save in the bank, but you can withdraw the money anytime. But with the NSSF, once you put your money there, with the target, especially the informal sector, you put your money, maybe targeting for a year, and if you get what you want, then you can withdraw. We have learned from the NSSF that for somebody who is informal, can withdraw his money anytime. Save whatever you want, anytime, any day, even if it's monthly, even if it's daily. But if you have a target, once your target comes, you can withdraw your money without any interference. So we have encouraged them to save with NSSF, and they have really accepted and are really willing.
Ugandans under the informal sector should prepare themselves for future uncertainties because their jobs don't have a proper set plan for retirement. So they should work together with NSSF and adopt the saving culture.
While their job seems like it's a casual job, you could get fired at any particular moment, they need to understand that if it's the only job that they are doing, they need to save for retirement. Because whether we like it or not, we are living longer, we are playing to live longer, we need to be able to have money that will fund us in retirement.
Chimbo Assam, a taxi driver, advised fellow drivers to save with NSSF because of the long-term benefits they will receive. He also encouraged them to use this opportunity because it will help them prepare for their families even when they retire.
Though it's little, but at least I can save out of that little for my tomorrow. So I'm just so happy and grateful for that meeting because I've learned what I've been missing. I've got to know a lot from those people, from NSSF. And by the way, today I've opened up my new account, NSSF account, and I'm going to start saving from today.
In accordance with the National Social Security Fund Act, Chapter 222, the government has entrusted the National Social Security Fund with the responsibility of providing social security services to Ugandan employees. All employees in the private sector, including those working for non-profit organizations that are not covered by the government's pensions plan, are covered by the NSSF Provident Fund. The fund, which is a contributing plan, is financed by 5% and 10% respectively of the employee's gross monthly income from the employer. The fund oversees investments totaling more than 13.7 trillion Ugandan shillings. Samuel Chirimunda, Martha Nimsima, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now let's look at recycling of plastics. There are over 30 companies registered as plastics recycling companies in Uganda. Most of these are engaged in the recycling of PET, polyethylene and polypropylene. Then PET is the most recycled plastic in Uganda, and a group of companies have come up to support the recycling cause as a way of preserving environment and as well as creating more jobs for the youth. Let's have more in this report.
According to NEMA statistics, over 600 tons of plastics are produced daily across the nation, making up a lion's share of this garbage. Since only 40% of this waste is collected and properly disposed of, the remaining 60% enters the environment and causes a variety of issues. The green technology breakthrough gives investors a chance to directly participate in growing the market for recycled plastics.
Uganda is naturally endowed. Our environment is by far one of our greatest assets. As a manufacturer of beverages with PET components, I think it's by far one of our biggest achievements to say that we have been collecting 85% of waste that we have been, versus our production. I think that's a very big achievement, and I think that goes to show our ethos towards inclusivity with the women we partner with in this, our concerns of the environment. And as we continue to refresh Africa every day and make our continent a better place, it is our hope that we shall get other partners like DHL to partner with us in PET waste collection, management and recycling. We have a plastic recycling industry in Nakawa where we collect and sort out plastic waste and recycle the waste into cold flakes. We look forward to getting more partnerships that are driven towards these environmental concerns, incorporating the women empowerment agenda, economic inclusivity, waste and water management.
In order to address these issues, people have collaborated to create a method for recycling plastic bottles and turning them into various useful products such as clothing, furniture, fences, and new plastic bottles, bags, and containers. Recycling plastic bottles is beneficial for a variety of reasons. To begin with, recycling lessens potential pollution from the chemicals used to manufacture these bottles. Additionally, it lessens the quality of garbage dumped in landfills, which frees up space for other things. All you have to do is to keep in mind to dispose of items properly when you're finished with them.
Someone can gain from this recycling business, one by protecting the environment and as well as earns on a daily basis in terms of money. We have seen people developing their lives, other paying school fees, and even building houses from this business. And another thing, I want to advise everyone using plastic and polythene to always keep them in the right places so that these people collecting can pick them and get some money out of it.
Because the world has a massive plastic waste problem, the construction and operation of factories is not only environmentally friendly, but also tremendously appealing to investors. The market for thermolytic recycling is enormous and there is little competition. As the supreme body, NEMA is dedicated to collaborating with all interested parties to safeguard the environment.
Our ultimate goal is to put a stop to further pollution of our ecosystems from plastics. What we are debating are the routes to get there, and those can be many, and we shall continue engaging, but our ultimate goal is to effectively control plastic pollution, and that we remain determined. We are not going to waver, we are not going to relent on that, because the alternative is very expensive. As you have heard from KCCA, government is already spending a lot of money.
Concerns about how to properly dispose of used plastic have been raised by many who are concerned about the ecology and the health of our planet. Approximately 60 million water bottles are currently discarded daily in Africa, and the biodegradation process might take up to 700 years for just one plastic bottle to decompose. Instead of being dumped or burned, massive amounts of plastics are recycled safely and sensibly into high-quality product oil. Desire Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now that story takes us to managing plastic waste, as there are disagreements on the implementation of regulations for the effective management of plastic pollution and the strategy that will guide the enforcement. On the one side, the plastic recyclers, and on the other is the government. The State Minister for the Environment, Beatrice Anyua, says that the intended legislation reforms will focus on both halting manufacture of plastics below 30 microns and streamlining recycling, but promises that government is ready to listen to manufacturers and discuss a review of policies with a view to creating harmony. We have more in this report.
The National Environment Act, which has been in effect in Uganda for 24 years now, was updated in 2009 in a bold and a long overdue move. It mainly addressed new environmental issues like climate change, handling dangerous chemicals, challenges to the environment related to petroleum use, and handling of plastics. According to the Executive Director of the Plastic Manufacturing and Recycling Association, the only way to combat climate change is through science. Therefore, targeting an industry that supports the economy will not only cripple the business people, but also serve no purpose because those paper bags are even non-recyclable.
Change can only be solved by the science itself. You cannot come out there and you start scorning recycling science and you think you have solutions on the table. You cannot come from somewhere you are fighting 7%, which is recyclable in Uganda, everywhere, deepest in the village. People are picking to sell to these recycling, establishing recycling industries. And you say you are banning it to promote non-recyclables. That's the problem. We have seen some people, they are coming, we promote paper bags, we promote these non-woven bags, these red bags I was showing you. These are non-recyclable, 100%. The more you force them into the environment, no one is recycling them, they are going to be a danger to the society, to the future generation.
The National Environment Management, on the other hand, vows not to waver or compromise issues of pollution.
Our ultimate goal is to put a stop to further pollution of our ecosystems from plastics. What we are debating are the routes to get there, and those can be many, and we shall continue engaging, but our ultimate goal is to effectively control plastic pollution, and that we remain
we remain determined. We are not going to waver. We are not going to relent on that.
State Minister for Environment, who is very objective about this, says that the government is ready to listen to manufacturers and discuss a review of policies, but they should be benchmarking and doing a comparison of what is happening in other countries, that is to say Rwanda, in regards to environment conservation.
Reviewing some of them, others can be repealed. Lawmaking process is a continuous process. If it doesn't suit the society in that moment in time, yeah, it can be amended.
We need also to know what is happening elsewhere. I saw my brother giving an example of Rwanda. Yes, Rwanda globally is what? Glorified. And for us, for me, when I'm flying KLM and they say, you leave your Kavera on the plane so that it should be dumped in Uganda. You pass the other country and it is dumped where? In Uganda. Even the one we are saying our neighbors have banned the use of Kavera. It finds its way here. Our borders are not very sealed.
Plastic recyclers are urging policymakers to avoid double standards. For instance, where some of the plastics imported into the country are exempted from taxes, whereas the plastics recycled are banned. Rona Nahabwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Business Today, let's take a break, and after it, we shall return with the Coffee Cut and more business reports. Stick around.